Awesome. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the State of LeanLaw 2021. My name is Gary Allen. I am the original founder of LeanLaw, and I'm the chairman of the board. Can we go to the next slide, please, Jonathan? So our agenda for today, first of all, I'm going to give you just a brief perspective as a founder of LeanLaw. Then Jonathan's going to talk about our company vision. Fred Willerup, our CTO, is going to talk about the product vision. Then Laura Beaulieu, our marketing director, is going to talk about the LeanLaw Accounting Pros program. And finally, Chase Sullivan, our customer success director, is going to talk about that part of our company, and we'll end with your questions. Can I get the next slide, please?
I'm going to run a poll really quick, Gary.
Oh, sure. Let's do one now. Good. Go ahead.
Very quick poll of the group. We just want to understand your affiliation with LeanLaw. There are four questions or four options. We're just going to hold this open for 30 seconds. And we'd like to get to at least 75% participation. Oh, wow. Jumped up to 50. Okay, a few more. Just give it a few more seconds. Okay, I'm going to close the poll. And just so everyone knows, the majority of you are either LeanLaw clients or accounting professionals. So a few others in the list. So onward you go, Gary.
Next slide, please. Thank you. So welcome, everybody. Just leave it there for now. Thank you. So LeanLaw was born out of my pain. When I started practicing law many years ago, like most lawyers, I had no training in business, but I was interested in making money. From the beginning, I understood my firm was billing my clients a lot, and not much of it was ending up in my pocket. I could also see that technology had the potential to reshape the practice and how law firms work to make them more efficient, more responsive, and better able to meet society's needs. But law firm technology consistently disappointed. And it was always clunky and hard to use. It was disjointed. It was always hard to get the information you needed, financial or otherwise. So next slide, please. I waited 25 years for someone to solve those problems and finally decided to take matters into my own hands. I was fortunate at that time to meet Jonathon Fishman, who has a wealth of business experience, and Fred Willerup, who is a certified technology wizard, and LeanLaw was born. Recently, we've added Laura Beaulieu, a brilliant marketer, to our senior team, and you'll hear about more additions we're going to make this year that we're very excited about. Next slide, please. So I'm proud of what we've built. LeanLaw consistently gets top ratings from clients and accounting professionals. Next slide. And we solve important problems for our clients and allow them to do more of what they want. So with that said, we are early in our journey, and we see so much exciting potential in our product that you're going to see today. The company is also growing and advancing. So one thing I want to announce today, if you didn't know this, is that Jonathon Fishman is going to lead the charge to take LeanLaw to the next level. So a couple of months ago, he assumed the role of CEO of the company, bringing a wealth of business experience and tremendous energy to the role. He's going to walk you through the company's vision for 2022 and beyond. So go ahead and take it away, Jonathan.
Thanks, Gary. I just want to start by acknowledging Sean and Alicia and the comments they made here, and make the note that it's the passion, enthusiasm, and feedback from this community that really drives our day-to-day. I tried to quantify it, but over the last 5 years in my partnership with Gary, Fred, and now Laura and Chase, I've had, I believe, between 3,000 and 4,000 conversations with law firms and law firm professionals, and it's just sparks joy in what I do and what drives me. When we look at our company vision, we have more clarity as to who we are and what we do than we've ever had before, and I think 2021 was really a coming of age. And our mission is to help law firms become better businesses, to be more collaborative, to be more profitable. And we hope that the tools and workflows and technologies that we put in place facilitate that process. So every decision we make is bounded in the idea, does it help a law firm, and does it help you run a better business? That's our mission, that's who we are, that's our essence. Now, the way we think, and this is important because it's the cross-section of the idea of what we can automate, what we can integrate with, and what the data opportunities is our passion, it's our joy, and I say this with a little bit of trepidation, our genius. It's who we are and who we think and who we aim to be. So everything that we do is trying to help you be a better business, and we do that through these three tenets. And QuickBooks is a perfect example of a personification of that vision. So when we look at 2021, what did we get done? It was a bumpy year. We will not deny that we felt some growing pains as we approached 2021. But in that coming of age of 2021, through our efforts with the LAP community and onboarding and training and expanding these efforts across all this company, we began to really create the foundation for where our growth is going to happen. And that growth is on three different levels: how we're going to grow as a company, how our product's going to grow, and how our culture and team is going to grow. So I want to talk a little bit about LeanLaw in 2022. This is a really exciting year for us. We're just stoked to be where we are at this moment in this time. The first thing that I want to highlight is this idea of developing partnerships for revenue and integration. So what I mean by that is we want to make sure that we integrate with the right products and right companies, so that when you look at LeanLaw, you look at us as maybe the starting place where you onboard the client, but it links to your Microsoft 365 environment, or maybe it links to your other document management solution. We want to really refine the LeanLaw user experience. We know that that has some legacy feel to it, and it's a focus of ours to think about how is that user experience going to grow and be more efficient. So when you interact with that product, you can do what you need to do, you can see the data you need to see. We're going to excel at training and onboarding. And this isn't just about new customers coming into the environment, but also ensuring your staff knows how to effectively use the tool, whether a new team member coming on or a new feature coming out. We are going to grow our LeanLaw Accounting Pro community. These are absolutely one of our most important partners as we think about how we grow as a company. And we already see energy and traction and new infrastructure in that group, and we're really thrilled about that. And lastly, we're going to expand the company in every division. I mean, Laura is one of the first hires that we did in our management team, but we intend to build out each department. One of the notable hires for this community is we just elevated one of our staff members to be an account executive or account management function, and that's Chris Richards. So we're really looking at how do we build the right team to achieve the goals and visions that we have. Now, I want to talk specifically about what one area of the product that's going to change in 2022. If you look at this chart, and I stole it from a different presentation, but it really looks at the workflow of all the things that LeanLaw does, from the initial engagement of a client all the way through disbursements and the accounting functionality, and shows our areas. But you see there's two areas that we think there's a bit of gap. And what we'll start to do in 2022 is start to really look at the front end and the engagement, and most importantly, collections and payment. It is our mission in 22 to help you better communicate the value of your services. I'm speaking to the law firm and how they communicate to their clients, to better communicate that value, have a brighter and stronger instrument to do so, and fundamentally to get paid faster, and more effectively. That is our mission for 2022, is to build that new piece to the puzzle into our product. And we really believe that will have a significant benefit to the firms to increase your realization, making sure what you put in the system actually gets billed, to decrease collections, and ultimately to create a better relationship between that law firm and the law firm's customer. and to take away some of the agita that goes around receiving a law firm invoice. So, you know, that's our vision for where we're headed in 2022. So I'm going to move forward and just end it with this one principle. These are our core values. This is one of the most important aspects of our company. We use this as an instrument, a beacon to make sure that it's guiding every decision we make. And the only one I want to highlight, and it's just something that I think is unique to us, is that we always continue and strive to do the right thing. The right thing for our clients, the right thing for our product, the right thing for our team. And if you sort of unpack, do the right thing, it has such a deep meaning as to what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve. So we thank you all for being part of our community. I'm going to now turn this over to Mr. Willerup. I do have a poll, Fred. So whenever you want to do that, if you want to do it in the front end or the back end, maybe let's do it in the front end. I think it's going to work faster.
Yeah, why not? Go for it.
Quick poll. So I just did a very quick poll, and I just said, what's the most important feature that you'd like us to work on in 2022? Fred didn't even look at this, so I did it. So Fred, don't get mad at me if you don't like the items I put on. But we should be launching, and we want everyone to just throw out what we think is most important. I'm sorry that I'm only giving you one. And we'll let this run. I want to get up as at least 70–80% of everyone participating, saying what they think is most important. And we're almost there. Come on, everyone, just click the button. You can do it. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. And the winner is trust accounting by almost half. Trust accounting and then invoice presentation. So Fred, that's what you're going to do for 2022. I think that's all clear. You're all lined up.
Let me just update the slides because that's not what I had on there. Oops.
Go ahead, Fred.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Jonathan and Gary. I'm gonna basically do two things. Look back at what happened last year. Hopefully not too long, just to kind of revise and celebrate some of the accomplishments. But then look ahead and share what direction we want to take the product. If you could go to the next slide, please. So I poked around in our data and just to kind of come up with some fun numbers to kick us off here. So you guys tracked over 1 million time entries, representing over 1 million hours in our system last year. It's like incredible. And ultimately billing out hundreds of thousands of invoices, representing almost $500 million of value for customers. We're just blown away when we looked at these numbers here. I think we'll get to $1 billion here next year. So exciting. Behind the scenes, we've done over 500 product updates, features, bug fixes, optimizations. Now, I was thinking about why this is important, and this is really the beauty of software in the cloud, honestly. You probably don't know most of the time when we update the software. And this really is only possible because we're in the cloud and we can just continuously improve your experience and adding value and fixing issues. So that's awesome. We also want LeanLaw to be available 24/7. We almost got there. Next year, I'm going for 100%. No, so I'm proud to say that we were pretty good in that front there, even though we had a couple of issues. So fun numbers. Let's go to the next slide and look at some of the specific enhancements we made. There's sort of different categories of our workflow, time tracking, billing, etc. I just want to highlight a couple of things. I mean, with 500 updates, I can't go through it all, obviously. We added block billing and short codes, which makes which helps your team to track time more efficiently. We added a write-down feature in time tracking and reporting, and we added several new reports, which allows you to get a better sense of your team team's productivity and how your business is doing. We're really proud of our improvements to compensation reports, and this is what calculates attorney compensation automatically using origination percentages and so on. We added more flexibility there. We added a distribution feature that allows you to basically automate all the compensation reports and process in the law firm. So I'm really proud of that, of what we did there. In terms of integrations, I want to highlight our Gravity integration, which is a tool that allows you to create, to request trust funds from clients. So we do have a trust thing in there. And so ultimately allows you to get paid quicker and faster, more reliably. We also added a beta of our public API, which is important also going forward for integrating LeanLaw with other tools in your firm. So those are just a couple of things I wanted to highlight from last year. If we look ahead, on the next slide, please. You know, I don't want to go into too much detail here. I just want to highlight that there are really three big themes. Okay, we're flicking around a bit.
No, my machine went crazy. Go ahead, Fred.
Okay, just making sure we're on the same slide. There are three. We'll continue to make improvements in all those workflows I just mentioned. You know, so there'll be a lot of things going on, but the three big themes that we're focusing on is what we've started calling Invoice 2.0. Jonathon already talked about this to some extent. Integrations and then insights. They all start with I don't know why. It sounds cool. 3I, like that's our strategy. The invoice is probably one of the important ways that you're communicating with clients. Maybe you could obviously communicate other ways, but we think there's a huge opportunity here to take kind of that communication to the next level. Like, think about it: a client that receives a 5-page invoice with a bunch of time and expense detail, and then a very large number at the bottom. It's not great, and so we have some big ideas there of how we can help you communicate the value you provide to the clients through the invoice, through a client portal, and ultimately make your clients happier and make them more happy to pay, getting paid faster. So that's one big area. The other one I mentioned already, we've made some progress on this last year, but we're going to focus more on integrations. The big one here is Microsoft 365, integrating with the most popular productivity tool out there. So we have a beta of this that we kind of played around with or tested earlier this year, and we're going to release something awesome here at some point next year. We're also going to build out other integrations, specifically in the payments area, and through a sort of through other means. With basically the goal here is to kind of have the tools you use every day in your practice. Like, it might be practice management tools like CasePeer, FileMine, etc., document management. Have those integrate more seamlessly with LeanLaw and these other tools. We want to build on our awesome QuickBooks integration experience and like extend that out to other tools. So I'm pumped about that. Finally, insights. You know, I would just think of this as leveling up reporting and dashboards in the product, like taking all the data, like think about all the data you have in QuickBooks, in LeanLaw, you know, time tracking, client matter information for the firm, for each attorney's practice in the firm, and for all the people And we want to continue bringing that data to life through visualizations, highlighting certain data points better so that things are flagged when you have opportunities or issues with clients or people or whatever. And ultimately just bring the data to life to help your business. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a sense of kind of the general direction we're going here. A lot of detail behind the scenes here that we can talk more about, but that's going to be another time.
Hey, Fred, you missed one
yeah.
integration that we have already relative to Microsoft 365, which we'll be announcing in the first quarter. We've been working with Epona Legal for document management. They're a competitor to NetDocuments and World Documents, and kind of do what we do to QuickBooks, they do to Microsoft 365 from a DMS document management perspective. We've now integrated with them, and we'll be announcing that in the first quarter. So that's news to come there, and that's just part of that alignment with 365. I didn't mean to interrupt, Fred, but I want to make sure.
No, I appreciate that. I did leave that out by mistake. Thank you. Yes, for all of these things, I encourage you to reach out. We will be reaching out to you to help guide some of the development in all of these areas. If there's some of this that really excites you and where you're thinking, oh my God, I really want to be part of shaping this, that's how we want to do this, want to develop this with you. And so we're already talking to some of you about some of these things, and so I want to encourage you to reach out if you're fired up about some of these themes. All right, let's go to the next one. I'm going to wrap up with just sort of pointing out that to do this, Jonathon mentioned we're growing, and on the product side, we're also growing. We're hiring a VP of product. We're hiring some visual design help. We're hiring multiple engineers to help build all of this and to move faster with some of these ideas. And then finally, Jonathon already mentioned we now have an account management function with Chris Richards that many of you know. And so, I'm excited about next year, about all the things we want to do and to help you and your business and the team we're building and so forth. So thanks for that. I'm going to hand it over to Laura Beaulieu for the next piece. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Hey everybody, my name is Laura and I'm the VP of Marketing here at LeanLaw. And today I'm going to talk to you about our LeanLaw Accounting Pro community and how it can benefit you. Next slide. So here at LeanLaw, we are building a best of breed financial operating system for law firms. And we know that the success of law firms depends on strong accounting, either inside the firm or outside the firm, which is why we're building the LeanLaw Accounting Pro community to better serve our law firms and set them up for success. So what exactly is an LAP? They're experts in QuickBooks Online, they are experts in LeanLaw software, and they specialize in law firm accounting. So the next natural question is, how do I find a LeanLaw Accounting Pro? Next slide. So if you go to the website, we have right now, I think there's over 30 plus legal accounting pros on here, and we have over 60 plus in the LAP community. And so this is a tool for you. If you're needing help in this department, this is a great way to find resources. You can see that there's gold rated LAP pros, and you can also sort by different specialties. So it's a resource for you to have. Okay, next. So we have a lot of LAP members here today, and I just wanted to do a quick shout out to say thank you for your participation. We really value your opinion, and you should know that your feedback is often implemented into our product to make it the best that it possibly can be. It strengthens it, especially around best practices for accounting and bookkeeping functions. So this ultimately helps us achieve our ultimate goal, which is to help law firms become better businesses. The other piece that I wanted to plug while I have you here is our free weekly working lunch run by Elizabeth Rogers. So it's essentially a free weekly session where all of our LAPs can get together in a community. It's for community collaboration and communication. It's also a great resource for you guys to find best practices to really enhance your marketing of your own business and get more clients. So we hope to see you there. And with that, I'm happy to introduce Chase, who runs our customer success team.
Introduce? Oh boy. All right. My name is Chase Sullivan. You've probably seen me on some of the master classes that Fred and I host on a once-a-month basis, where we get to connect with you, our audience, and go over changes in the product. But this month, they've decided to wrangle me into talking about the state of LeanLaw and customer success at large over the last year and what we've got moving into 2022. Next slide. We're going to skip that one. Next slide. Perfect. Okay, so I love Fred's numbers so much, I decided I'm just going to do the same thing because that was an awesome showcase of what they have done over the past year. So I wanted to kind of capture what customer success and my team have been able to do over the last year. And the first thing there is the number of conversations we've replied to. Every time I take a look at how many interactions that we get to have with our users, I'm blown away. I think at this point, since we started, we've had over 15,000 conversations with users. But from this last year, the part of that was the 3,157 conversations. Now that's you reaching out to us with questions about training, the product, that super valuable feedback that we were talking about. And that number goes up every day. I mean, this number got posted a week ago. I'm sure there's already 200 more. This number is constantly growing. But what that means for me and my team is that we have a user base that's willing to talk with us and communicate, and that's super valuable. Next stat is our positive conversation rating. So we're at 95.2%. If you check our reviews on any site, you'll notice one of the biggest themes is our support and how much we value our interactions with our users. Like everyone here has said, you're what make this possible and what drive a lot of the decisions that we get to make here. So we hope to continue having those positive interactions. Next up on the bottom are actually a product of what we focused on this last year, are the number of hours saved. So last year we saved 137 of your hours, specifically through automation. That's things like the articles that are suggested, those chat bots for better or worse, and the bots that provide answers on the spot. And that's what both the teammate hours and the customer hours reflect, are the number of hours that we were able to save through that automation. And that was, like I said, that was a theme of last year and something that we're going to continue working on into 2022. Next slide. Great, thank you much. So customer success, kind of an umbrella term for what my team does and the teams that exist within that, right? So within that, we've got onboarding, account management, which is new for this last year and moving into the next year, and of course, support that we know and love. So wanted to take a look at what we did, or what each of those teams did in 2021. And I'll start with account management because that's the newest. As they have name dropped, Chris Richards stepped up from support and has started to develop our account management. Now you might ask, what is account management? Why is it important? Well, support does a really good job of helping everyone, but sometimes in trying to focus on those really important or critical conversations, we need a point of contact, that single person you can go to when you have a big picture issue or really need to have those detailed conversations. And that's what account management is here for. And so over the next year, that's one of the focuses that Chris and customer success are going to undertake, is how do we best serve and act as a point of contact between you, the users, and LeanLaw and the engineering team, right? Because if we're going to get that feedback and have those conversations, we got to have somewhere to have those. And that's what account management is focused on. So next up is onboarding. Now, anyone who has joined us in the last year will have interacted with Tracy Todd, who leads the onboarding team. And onboarding's primary focus is to help new firms get settled into their new home here at LeanLaw, making sure that their needs are met, that any specific features or quirks that they need are addressed by engineering, right? They're the movers, but also the realtor that helps make sure that you're comfortable in your new home. Now, I heard a smirk there. So moving into 2022, what is onboarding going to be working on? Well, as the company grows and as we get more interesting, more different, more technical firms, the requirements that are going to be asked of onboarding are going to change, right? If we onboard a 100-person firm, that's a lot different than the 5-person firms that we're so used to working with. And we have to get smarter about that. We have to provide training in different ways. We have to maybe hire more people for onboarding specifically. We have to get smarter about that. And we want to make sure that even for users that are joining LeanLaw for an existing firm, have that onboarding or that training experience that helps them find success, right? That's what onboarding is all about, is making sure that a firm or individual users are able to find success within the product. So you'll start to see some changes from the onboarding team in 2022 to help facilitate that, to help you find success in the product. And last up is support, which is near and dear to my heart and somehow what they've wrangled me into doing for the last number of years, which still blows me away. But what did support do in 2022? Well, like I mentioned earlier, support has been able to take advantage of a lot of the new tools that our program Intercom has provided us, one of which was those chat automations and those articles. Now, we're definitely in the first year of using that, and there's been a lot of frustration and feedback on those interactions, which is fantastic. It's so good to hear from our audience on how that's received and perceived, but we want to get smarter about that. Like I was saying, with LeanLaw growing, it's important that we keep that high level of positive interaction as high as we can, right? We want to make sure that every time you come to us with a question, that we're able to have those empathetic conversations that are really focused on you and your firm holistically, not just the problem in that moment. We don't want this to be a call with your service provider, your internet service provider, or your cell phone company. We want you to look forward to these interactions because they make us, they allow us to provide better support for you, but they also allow you to not have to come back and ask us questions again, because really at the end of the day, you're looking for mastery of the product, and that's what support's here to do. So we're looking to get smarter about that by working with onboarding for training purposes, but also being more proactive in our outreach. So when things like new features come out, which total pause, if you have not seen the product updates that Doug has written for engineering, absolutely fantastic. I have never seen a better presentation of new products. So when you see those messages, do yourself a favor and check those out. Because
hey, Chase,
yeah.
Explain who Doug is and what he does and why that's a new function in the company.
Doug. Okay. So quick backstory. I guess it's not a backstory. As you noticed, Fred said 500 updates. Well, 500 updates is a lot. How do we stay on top of that? Doug, and I can't remember his last name, so I'm terribly sorry. Doug joined the team this last year and helps Fred with the product releases to publish changes for our team so that we stay on top of it, but also for you so that you're able to take advantage of those new features, looking at what they do, why they're useful, how to use them. You'll notice he's been writing those articles that include different images and GIFs. So that's when I say Doug, that's what I'm looking at. That's who I'm referring to. Jonathan, was that a adequate response there for Doug?
Yeah, that's great. I just wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, you'll notice him popping up more and more throughout the product. So Doug was definitely part of what made our 2021 successful, and a lot of the best practices that he's added to support, we're looking to continue in 2022 and getting smarter as we continue to grow. Okay. I think that's it. I'll go ahead and hand it back to Jonathan.
Thanks, Chase. That was a really good presentation. And I think what I wanted everyone in the audience to hear from Chase is his conviction and dedication to continue in improving that user experience once someone's into the product, right? That's where his focus is, and his acknowledgement that, we're learning and we're trying to get better, and that there's always hiccups, but we're constantly doing that. So when we talk about, what 2022 is about, just to kind of wrap this up for today, it's our goal, it's our mission, it's our conviction to build the #1 financial operating system for law firms. That's what we are. And the derivative of that tool, we aspire that makes these law firms and these lawyers and all the constituents within those firms better at what they do, at least from a financial perspective, and certainly better businesses. That's the clarity that we had in 2021 that we're bringing into 2022. And you'll see those integrations. We're investing heavily in the team to then build more in the product. And we fundamentally believe that will bring bottom line value to the organizations. I want to make one little note because there's so many LAPs or accounting folks here, and just kind of build off of what Laura said. As someone who initiated that program in LeanLaw, one of the epiphanies of this organization was when we realized the importance of the accounting role, whether that was internal or what we realized external. And we elevated that person to be a customer of ours. We see them as a client. They don't necessarily pay for LeanLaw, but their voice is critical. And every decision we make, we go back to this community and say, is it right from an accounting perspective? Does it work in your day-to-day from the debits and credits? And I think that's important, and we're convicted to that. We're absolutely, that is a mantra of ours, to make sure that whatever best practice we put in place, it's validated from the accounting pro community. And I really want to reinforce those three tenets. How can we collaborate? What community can we create? And what kind of education can we share? Those are really critical for us. So as we wrap this, and I just wanted to go to the group and say, are there any questions? And using the chat as a tool. Okay. Any questions from the community? And chat would be the best instrument. Any comments, questions? I'm going to give it a second and sort of tap dance, as I do so well, just to see if someone's typing. But I think, as I'm waiting to see if someone asked, is it accepted in the state of law societies? That's an excellent question. So law societies, Canadians' version of the American Bar Associations, and we're actually in the beginning phases of facilitating the acceptance, the formality to it. We do all of the things that they expect us when we looked at the data sheet, specifically the exporting of a ledger, so that you can, to an Excel file, produce a ledger of each trust account. And we've actually gone through the requirements, but it's quite a process, and it's an unwieldy group to try to be accepted, especially being a non-Canadian entity. I actually led this for the company, and we just said, hey, we didn't want to go through the formality of it, but that doesn't mean we have a host of other folks that, a host of Canadian firms that actually use our tool on a day in, day out basis for their trust accounting. And it's actually very useful from the tax perspective. I don't know if all the American constituents understand that lawyers in Canada have to track tax associated with services. And because we rely on QuickBooks for that, that becomes a really nice instrument to automatically calculate that tax as a function of their invoicing product. So just a little FYI there. Feel free to jump back to us and ask more questions about that. The next question, can it integrate with QuickBooks Canadian and properly calculate sales tax? Karen, I think I just answered that question. Yes, we integrate with QuickBooks, Canadian QuickBooks, and yes, it can calculate sales tax. We expect that. Oh, Fred, you want to say something?
No, go ahead. I thought you were done. Keep going.
And I would say that one of the things that we're going to that we hope to get done. I don't want to say this, but for certainty, but when you guys elevated trust accounting, it kind of refreshed our saying, hey, we need to make sure that we keep thinking about our trust accounting, is to really get that trust statement tuned to accommodate the tax, because if we apply that tax once the invoice gets to QuickBooks, and I highly believe that in our 2022 invoice 2.0, we'll be able to nail that down and control that tax so that it's really clear. Here's the dollar amount, here's the tax, here's how much money is in trust, here's the payment with that. I'm afraid you were going to say something?
We had a question about the UI of the product, if we're making any enhancements there. And yes, I think we've done a pretty good job of keeping the product user friendly, but there's some issues as it's getting more complex. We're adding more flexibility, more complexity. I feel we've struggled a little bit with keeping it simple in some areas. So we are hiring actually some help there. I think I mentioned it on one of the slides that we're hiring visual design and user, it's called UX in our industry, user experience help. And so I expect us to improve our UX and user interface significantly over the next year, keeping with the goal of keeping it simple whilst at the same time keeping it flexible. There's those two considerations that we want to do at the same time. So
yeah, and I think Fred, I think it's worth noting that your client page that you introduced this year is a good personification of that, in the sense of bringing forth that client financial information in a single page summary. While it's just a very small step towards this goal, that was one thing we got done in 2021. So if you haven't seen the client page and go look at the financials and some of the billing history, that's some fine work that Fred did. So with no other questions from the group, I'm just going to end it by saying this. First and foremost, thank you. I really, it's a heartfelt thanks to all of this community for continuing their support for us. I remember in 2016, the first customer came on the LeanLaw. We call him the yacht lawyer. He's in Florida, and we were shocked. I mean, I just trained. We're like, wow, someone actually paid us for the software. We were so excited that we actually had a client, and it brought a lot of joy to us that we could take something from that and evolve it into where we are today. And you know, now as we have kind of come into our own and we're ready to grow, we're really thrilled and excited for the future. I think we understand how law firms operate and what the requirements are, but fundamentally, we're going to continue to listen and to hear what you need, and let your voice, the voice of the accounting professional, the voice of the law firm, drive what this product's going to be in the years to come. We will never stop listening. And so with a heartfelt thanks, I wish you all a wonderful holiday. There was a question came up, will there be a recording of the session sent? Laura, will there be a recording of the session sent to the group? Yes, she says yes, there will be a recording and it will be sent to everyone. So I wish everyone a really happy holidays, a really, you know, a wonderful 2022. And thank you for coming today. And I'm going to end the session and follow up with any of us if you have any questions that didn't get covered here. So thanks everyone, appreciate it. Have a great day and a great rest of your week. Take care.